change of pace for the esports center. Usually it's super warm.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, why don't you start by introducing yourself? Tell us your name, your tag, and where you're from.
My name is Eritro, but a lot of people call me Ari. My gamer tag is ever changing, but right now I usually use Froggerz, Froggerz with a Z 69 or Froggerz 420. And I'm from SoCal, Orange County.
Mhm. I think, yeah, most of the club is from SoCal. At least everyone I've interviewed so far.
There's a few, yeah, there's quite a few of us.
So, are you a student? And if so, what's your year and major?
I am a student. I am a third year, and I am a double major in English and economics.
Yeah, the first non-STEM major I've interviewed.
You didn't say that again. Fucking everyone here is STEM as fuck, and I'm like humanities and then like a social science.
Okay,
I'm
when did
definitely
you
the odd
first
duck.
start playing fighting games?
Ooh, okay. So I first started playing fighting games very, very casually. Probably in I want to say like very early high school or like very late middle school.
What year would that be? Like 2018, 17?
Yeah, something like that. 2019 probably. I first got into Ultra Street Fighter 2 on the Switch, and that's
Wow,
that's actually the
that's
stick
a
I'm still
deep cut.
using. Yeah, right, right, right. I was like, well, this is the only Street Fighter game that I can buy on like a console I own.
How did
So,
you like? What compelled you to just try that game?
it was like relatively cheap compared to Street Fighter 5, and I had seen some Street Fighter 5 footage just like randomly, as well as Third Strike footage. But I didn't know like how to like set up Fightcade or anything like that. So my first thing was like, well, I have this event coming up, and I can ask this for like a gift,
Mm.
you know. And so I got like a little setup for it and stuff. Uh, and yeah, that was my first fighting
Were you
game.
just like casual button masher at the time? And
Yeah, basically. And
yeah,
then like, I kind of fell off of it. It was like, okay, that's fun.
yeah.
I don't know if maybe I'll try another one of the games. And then I played a little bit Third Strike when I finally was like, let me see
Fightcade?
this. Yeah, let me see what this is all about. And that's when it like really started. That's when I started
Mm.
learning like, okay, I need to start learning hit confirms and I need to learn how to like get my uh get my actual motion inputs right.
Yeah.
Uh I remember learning a lot of the game with Alex and Necro specifically, and then like falling in love with Oro, who
Mm.
I just came from playing right now.
Yeah. I think
So,
that's
and then
Oro is the character
SF5.
that I associate with you the most in Third Strike. So you made the transition from 3 to 5. I mean,
Yeah.
did you always intend to play 5 because you saw it
Yeah.
first?
It was the first one that I had seen that made me really think like, okay, wait, this looks kind of sick,
Yeah.
right? Like to this day I am a SF5 defender. I'm still like that shit was fun. That shit was gas.
That was
Dead ass,
you're
man.
just preaching to the choir.
Yes, sir. Listen. I'll take any acknowledgement of SF5 being fun that I can get, even if I've heard it before, you know?
But you didn't play Alex and Oro in 5.
I did play Alex actually.
Oh, to start off
For
with?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Oh.
was an Alex main for a
Hmm.
long time. And then I was like, you know what? I have like some pocket characters. I have some characters I know how to play who I'm not like actually good with. And I did like a lot of combo trials. In the end I ended up with a weird fascination with E Honda, which still persists to this day. The SF6 butchered him so badly.
Yeah, it's
The SF5 Honda was actually really fun. I liked him a lot.
any
And
reason why I guess like he's similar archetype kind of to Alex.
similar archetype to Alex, but he felt more classic and more like he felt more purposeful in his design. Alex felt way less purposeful, and especially with the buffs they gave him in season 5, he just became very belligerent and like there wasn't that much left there to draw me in. But I really liked the way Honda made me use a limited tool set to achieve a lot of different things, especially with like Kara cancels and more niche tech like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what really made me stick with Honda and like this fast grappling archetype. It was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
Honda has a surprising amount of tech
Right?
for a character that's like kind of just in your face, kind of
Hitting
destroying you
buttons
with
and
special
shit.
moves. Yeah.
It's like bizarrely
Yeah.
fun. Like it's like I gotta like control this like ball of death on the screen, basically.
But you also pocketed a Dulcin, right?
Yeah, of course.
So how'd you pick that up?
I just I think I what I really liked was his design, being Indian myself, and I was like, well, this is a fucking crazy ass design. When I looked at it in SF2, like, this is fucking racist. And then I like looked into it more, and then I looked at like the design process for him, and I was like, okay, this is very heartfelt. It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
They wrote about his like actual character very well, I think, in that like, it's like it's simple but effective. It's nice. Um, and in the end, it was like, you know what? This is like actually like a very compelling example of like an Indian character in like a fantasy world, effectively. And like being into like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, it's like it's kind of rare to see like South Asian characters in that light. Uh, so I was like, you know what? Let me give bro a shot, and I ended up really enjoying like playing this like very strange like high flying zoner like as opposed to a grappler, and
Yeah.
like I think SF5 he was already very fun to me, but I could never really pick him up fully because I just wasn't ready to like play that kind of character. But actually in SF6, because I didn't like how Honda was redesigned,
Yeah.
I just went straight into Dalsum, and I'm like, he's definitely my main, and it's like I just need to practice more SF6,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like I'm definitely a Dalsum main in SF6. I fucking love it.
So I do recall you coming into the club around like the 2022 era,
Yeah, it's a
tail end of SF5. How did you find out about it?
Oh my God, dude. I was just in the longest line ever for GBC, and they were on Sproul tabling. And I saw like two guys playing Guilty Gear Strive with big ass fight sticks in their laps, and just a just the dumbest sign ever, like just says fighting games at Berkeley. Just
Yeah, the
blue
marker,
just blue
yeah.
marker on a
Yeah.
white thingy. I was like, my people.
Mm.
Oh my God. And that I met Reagan and Eric there. Played like a couple games of Faust with them in Strive. I was like, these guys are chill. I gotta pull up to this for sure. And that's when we met.
Yes, I do
Yeah.
remember. Those were the days.
Yes, sir. You had long,
Because
long hair.
yes, and we were the only Street Fighter 5 players.
Yeah, exactly. But we were always there, man. We were always putting in that work. This was actually like the beginning of my legendary Street Fighter 5 fall off, because this was like the first time in like several months when I was playing the game where I didn't have access to it every day because I didn't have an
Yeah.
esports membership back then.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't play it on my laptop, right? And so that my skill like decroded. Decroded is not a real word, by the way. That is a word a streamer made up, literally. It
Like Northern Lion?
yeah,
You
yeah.
made it up?
Northern Lion made up that fucking word. It's not a real word.
Do people say decroded?
Sometimes, yeah. It's kind of infected me too.
Do you know they're an egghead?
Yeah, I am an egg carton member. It's true. Shout out to Northern Lion, by the way. He never plays fighting games. I think that's for the
Yeah,
best.
even if people ask him to like every day.
Yeah, why do people think he's gonna like SF6? He's not gonna like that shit, bro. Well, I mean, I get that he knows how to play SF4 and stuff like that, but like,
Is he good?
he knows how to do a TP. So he's better than
Better
like
than, like,
60% of people,
50%
right?
though.
Yeah. I feel like he'd be like a good like a Blanca player, you know what I mean? Like some shit like that. He could fucking just press buttons for a little bit.
What's it called? I need to amend an answer. for my
Come to the
question.
mic, friend.
Ooh, come to the mic.
Yeah.
Okay, so you asked, or I said I knew why I wanted to play, or like, I knew I would like fighting games because of League, right?
Okay.
That's not actually the biggest reason. I just remembered my first fighting game ever was For Honor. I played For Honor on release, and I played a ton of that game. I like have 250 hours in it, which is as much as I have in like Strive. And I played it almost all alone. Like I would play it. Like I asked my friends to get it.
Solo queue for Honor is
Yeah,
crazy.
one of them bought like the $120 edition. He played like 2 hours of it. And my friend Lance, he only played it like a bit. But after that, it was just me alone. I played like 1v1s, and I have like 200 hours of just 1v1s. It's
Oh my
basically a
God.
fighting game. Like,
gotta run
Isn't
the
it usually like a
full honor figure.
4v4 type thing?
so there's the 4v4 mode,
It seems fun.
but that game mode is like more for fun. Like, it's the
Okay.
main game mode. I think they even play tournaments on it, if like the main tournament.
Yeah, makes sense.
But there's like, for one, there's like gear.
There's a big 1v1 thing.
No, like, so 1v1 has no gear. Like, it doesn't affect it. But the 4v4 has gear.
Oh, I
As
see.
in,
I
like,
see.
the higher level you are, the better gear you have. It
Oh,
literally
that's
has
bullshit.
no skill involved. It's just like whoever plays more or spends money gets the better character.
Oh, that's
So
stupid.
I gravitated towards the 1v1s or the 2v2s, which are like gear, like score doesn't affect anything.
That's fun. That's cool.
So yeah, I played that, and that was like my first fighting game, and I liked it a lot. So I knew when Strive came out, it's like a more legit fighting game. But I knew like I like the core like gameplay loop of it.
Fuck yeah.
Extremely rare For Honor players.
So yeah, I came from For Honor.
Actually-
Like, let's be real here. I came from For Honor, and it's like people should try it.
That's way more based than saying you came from League.
Yeah.
Damn, who knew a For Honor player could be so
Because
good?
there's so
Wait,
many.
you got
League...
your backpack on? You're leaving?
Yeah, I'm planning on leaving.
Oh no. Let's get a game in
Oh,
before
yeah, we
I-
gotta play
before I leave.
Counter-Strike.
We gotta play a little bit.
Alright, we'll wrap this up.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a yapper, so I'll be here for a
Alright.
few more minutes, you know?
Okay.
But stay.
Yeah, I'll see.
Okay.
Just on the topic of, I guess, other fighting games. So you came to the club. So far, you've only mentioned Street Fighter. Did you eventually branch out to other fighting game franchises, and what was that like?
Yeah, it was after I joined this club, I think, that I finally like started playing Strive again. I became an Anji player. I really fucked with him, and I was already like a Faust player, just from like some passing familiarity. Let me think. What are some of the games that I've liked the most that aren't Street Fighter here? I pretty much all the fighting games that I've played that aren't Street Fighter or Guilty Gear Strive are stuff I've got introduced to at the club.
Yeah,
Blaze Blue is super fun.
it is.
Every character in the game is a zoner in some way, and I think that's really sick as like a conceit. It doesn't necessarily feel that way, but like I think fundamentally every character is. Melty Blood is super fun. Highly recommend people get into that. Kind of infuriating, but that's part of the charm, I think.
How so?
There's so many like super specific things you know how to do. Like there's so many like plinks. There's so many fucking like character specific combos and shit. There's so many like setups. And, oh my god, there's so much. It's a lot of depth, which is actually a good thing. But like it's kind of easy to get into because you can get away with like just pressing buttons real fast and stuff will happen. But it's something that I highly recommend people play. But I mean, I guess in terms of like the more like AAA style fighting games, I would say like Tekken. I'm really fucking with right now. I've kind of fallen off the Guilty Gear a little bit, but I've been fucking with like Fang and Tekken a lot. So
Yeah.
I want to play some of that
I
later.
think there's a lot of hate. I think he's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's just sick. He's kind of fun.
Do you have a favorite game out of all those? Is it still Street Fighter for you?
Dude, Third Strike, baby. Third Strike. It's just I can't get away from her. I just fucking love it. And I can feel like my palpable improvement in the game as well right
Yeah, it's
now,
always fun
which is
to find.
fun. Yeah. But I feel like Third Strike is one of those games where you can really tell. You know what I mean? Like people keep like spectating my games. They're like, "Oh, wait, he's got those?" I was like, "Motherfucker, yeah."
You're
And I do
dedicated
now.
Oro main now?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, I still have like a Pocket Alex that I'll just play for fun sometimes, or if I accidentally press A too many times on the home
Yeah.
screen, and it's just like, oh, I picked Alex. All right, whatever. I'll play a couple games of Alex. But yeah,
Let me move on to some miscellaneous questions.
sure.
So we've covered your whole fighting game history. What other kind of games do you like playing?
Ooh, yeah. So, the two fighting game genres that I play, this is like a bit that I have with my friends, is that I only play roguelikes and fighting games, which I think are very similar types of games. And I think maybe not super what you'd think I would play as an English major, right? But like, yeah, no, roguelikes are like my favorite genre outside of fighting games.
Which is your favorite? I know you like Nuclear Throne.
Yeah, Nuclear Throne and Star of Providence are my two favorites.
Yeah, I've seen you on
Oh my god, Star of Providence has me in a chokehold right now.
Mhm.
I'm also crashing out because this streamer called Grapefruit, who I like, just recently picked up the game and is already way farther ahead in it than I am. And I'm just like, I fucking suck at video games, dude. This shit is crazy, but he's also like a bullet hell guy, so like it kind of makes sense. But yeah, I would say those are like my favorite games.
You ever tried like Slay the Spire?
Yeah, I'm a newbie Spirehead, but like, it's kind of embarrassing how long it took for me to get into Slay the Spire. But like, I don't know, Star of Providence just has my fixation right now.
Yeah, I gotta try it.
Dude, you gotta play it, man. It's cheap as fuck and it's really good. I've been on that shit since like 2018.
Damn.
Good ass game. It got like republished, but it's been around.
All right, next question. What's your process for picking a main? I think you kind of you're known for
Yeah.
playing like a weirdo
Yeah.
old man type.
Yeah.
Like, you played Gan and 4. You played
No, I played Goken
or
in
Goken,
4,
I
yeah.
confused the two, yeah.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we talked about this. I go off the character art first and foremost, and I tend to like characters that remind me of like really classical fantasy characters.
Mm.
For Street Fighter, it's like like the classic like fantasy monk character, like the monk
Yeah, yeah.
archetype, like these like the traveling sage and shit like that. I just think that's a really fun archetype to play. It's like Dhalsim and Oro both fit into
Yeah.
that.
Presumably Fang fits into that.
Fang
Goken.
kind of fits into
Yeah.
that, right? Goken definitely. Um, I'm trying to think. Like, I also just play like oddball characters, gameplay wise. Generally speaking, I don't know. They just tickle me. They like I just like learning something weird and specific sometimes.
Yeah, I could never see you play like a Chun-Li or something.
Fuck no, dude. It's so boring.
That's like the opposite spectrum.
Exactly, exactly. If I wanted to just press fucking heavy punch all day, then I don't know. I'd play fucking Osu. You know what I mean? Just like press two buttons over and over again. But I mean, you know, a Fundy's character is always good too. Like Goken, for example, is very fundamentals based. But like, it's just the design that really matters to me and the vibe, right? Like, I could be fucking with the design heavy, but if the gameplay is whack, I'm not
Yeah, you
gonna do
gotta-
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a good balance.
Final question. I usually ask people if they're graduating, but you're not graduating yet.
Mhm.
So my final question is: if you made a fighting game, what would you put in it?
What would I put in it?
Some mechanics, the characters, like
Drive Rush. No. Probably anything but Drive Rush right now. Okay, I would think Universal Double Jump is really fun. I think a lot of games would benefit from it. Like Melty has this very Smash-like movement to it, which is like very 3D. Which I think is like one of the things that makes it a really strong game. Let me think. I would really try like balance-wise to make sure that like the strongest characters have the highest ceilings, if that makes sense.
like ways with it.
Yeah, kind of like that. Or like, you know, like Street Fighter 5 Dhalsim, for example. Like theoretically extremely strong,
Yeah, but no one
but in
plays him.
practice no one plays him because he's too fucking hard. Something like that. Like I do think SFI had pretty good balance, generally speaking.
Except for
Luke. But we don't talk about that one. We don't talk about that shit. Fuck, I think oh man, you got me on the spot here. This is a tough question. I would ground it in real life. Like, so it would be like on Earth. I think I really love the flavor of Street Fighter and like a King of Fighters. So I think I would have that World Warrior vibe going on, like people from different parts of the world coming together to compete in some kind of global tournament, and that'd be like the stage with something nefarious happening in the background too. But probably some like really campy shit, like some 80s bullshit, you know? Like the majority of people don't play fighting games for the plot, and I mean,
Yeah.
I'm one of the weirdos that's like also like the plot's gotta have some
I mean, the
sauce.
plot contributes to the aesthetic.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? Like Street Fighters also has this 80s campy thing going
Yeah.
on still. Even it's kind of modernized now a
Well, it was
little
made
bit,
in
but
the 80s.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
translated to modern times.
100%. But I would also want to fuck with the timeline a little bit. Like, I really like that in Guilty Gear, Y2K actually happened, and that's why they're like all like crazy.
Like alt history type.
Yeah, exactly, like an alt history timeline. I don't know what it would be necessarily, but like maybe we all remember like the Great Flood that happened like millions of years ago. You know how like cultures around the world
Yeah,
all
yeah.
have the same like thing of like a Great Flood that happened a long time ago. So like maybe like we all just remember that really well, and so we all like I don't know, we have like some kind of crazy mission as humanity or some shit, you know?
That's a really interesting.
You know what I
did
mean?
Not think you
Yeah.
would go that route.
I don't know. I was just spitballing. I'm off the top of my head, but like some weird all history
Blood
shit.
fighter.
Blood fighter. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like mechanics wise, I would want it to not necessarily be like an anime system. Well, actually, as a game with a double jump, you kind of need it to be a little bit anime.
Maybe you could work your way around it. It would be a new thing for sure.
It's getting too close to Street Fighter. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I made a fighting game, I would make Street Fighter
With
3: The
double
Third
jump.
Strike. Street Fighter 3, but everyone's Oro. A better game for real. An honest ass game. No, yeah, I think like my ideal fighting game kind of lies somewhere between like a Street Fighter and a Guilty Gear. Like I really enjoy both of those games. I think the vibes of both games are really great. I also have a lot of respect for King of Fighters though. I'm trying to get into the game still. Like I'm still very much a noob. Like I've played it like only a few times, you know. Actually, KOF would be a good example of like a Street Fighter esque
Yeah, but
sort
it's
of
a little
vibe.
faster, a little more aerial.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, I wouldn't even describe it as anime-esque movement, right? It's
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
much its own lane.
It is.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's really tough. Yeah, no, I would commit to the double jump. I'd commit to like, yeah, maybe you could like do strings in air and stuff like that, but like you still have to time them out. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And like depending on like where you hit them in the air, you'd have to like adjust like what string you're doing to like theoretically you're dragging them down to the ground, right? So like you would maybe have to like change the combo on the fly, like do a lot of like jazz basically,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
improvisation, yeah, some shit like that.
But yeah, good answer. You gave way more detail than I thought you would. Thanks for coming to the interview.
Of
Let's wrap this up.
course,
I'm gonna hit
my
the button.
pleasure, brother.